What up,
Metalheads?
Metalheads? So today we are reviewing Glorious Burden, one of the controversial albums.
By Iced Earth. I'm really sorry about my Alright.
I told him not to.
Okay. Well, just a little backstory on what happened. My sister and her friend did my makeup, and over time, it slowly turned into this. So, I'm really sorry. Let's review Iced Earth's Glorious Burden. So, this album is the most controversial of their discography, probably even Framing Armageddon. Those two albums are actually the most controversial.
Wow, of course, Framing Armageddon is controversial too. Okay.
Yes, he likes Framing Armageddon. Okay, so this fucking not video. This album has Tim Owens on it, and a lot of metalheads that do not like Tim Owens.
I would love it if this video had Tim Owens
Yeah, I
on
was
it.
gonna say this video would be epic.
That would be pretty awesome. Yeah, I know a lot of metalheads hate Tim Owens. I'm not a fan of Owens, but I like the albums that he's on. You know, I like the Judas Priest one that he's on. I like the Glorious Burden's pretty decent. I like Framing Armageddon. I don't like his solo career stuff. That stuff is just awful. Okay, so this album is a Civil War album, and it basically brings you through the Civil War. There's even the last 3 tracks on here are even a trilogy story that go together as one big song, basically. And those are actually my 3 favorite songs off of the album because of that. The first song I'm gonna dive into is When the Eagle Cries, because, well, you'll see. I'm gonna tell you what I think of this. Just wait till you hear it.
Suffered hell's inferno, a senseless act that goes unforgotten. How could they will pay when the ego cries?
So, one downside to this album, well, one of many downsides to this album, is, well, what you just heard. Okay, Tim Owens is not meant to do ballads. He just isn't.
Might have to agree with
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
Yeah, no, he's not meant to do ballads. Not only does it sound cheesy, it just doesn't work in every way. That's it. That's all I have to say. It's kind of cringy. It doesn't sound Iced Earthy. It really doesn't. It sounds like Tim Ripper stuff, Tim Owens stuff. This album does have some positives to it, though, stuff that I actually really like and kind of wish more albums would do. Check out Hold It All Costs. I really like these like dialogue parts that he does for the purpose of storytelling. He actually acts out as these characters. It's really interesting. Check this out. Okay, before we get into his dialogue, I just want to say that's a really good riff. I enjoyed that. This album is full of really good melodies that I just think are really good. Anyways, here's the dialogue.
Just a mile or so away is my dearest friend in this world. He wears the blue and I the gray. And God, it hurts me so.
I like how this puts aside, I guess, the musical aspect of it and brings in a setting, is what it's doing, essentially.
It does that. It kind of sets up a setting for it, and it gives you like background and context for the rest of the song.
Yeah.
And I like the way he does it, like how he's saying it, because then it gives you that feeling of like, oh, that's his best friend, like they're on opposite sides. And
yes, that is something that is really great that he's doing. Okay, so then check out how heavy this album can get, and actually how the majority of the album sounds. Check this out.
Union flames in trouble. All round top on the double. A bad decision, insubordination. Expose our lie in a dangerous way.
A lot of storytelling albums do a great job at storytelling, but not to this level. To me, this whole album is just next level, like metal opera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, what I've noticed is that he has like 3 different voices that he likes to use, especially in this song. He does it throughout the album, but it's I mainly noticed the differences between the three in this song. He has that kind of like deeper, like, I don't want to say a growl because it's not really a growl, but like, and then there's the higher like exposed our lives in a dangerous way.
This part right here.
Expose our life in a dangerous way.
And it goes from high into that, goes from higher into that kind of lower, kind of I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, just the low tremolo voice.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, okay. That's best. And then the third one is that kind of really dramatic, like holding out the note.
Yes, he does do a lot of that too, which you'll see right here.
Charging on what was the slaughter forward. The peace orchard. Through the wheat field and devil's den.
Right there is all three of them.
Yeah.
And they just flow together perfectly.
Yep. All three of them were all exactly what he just said.
One more thing is, if you actually listen to all of the words in the songs, and like just kind of take a second to listen to like the whole trilogy of either just the last three songs or the whole album, it's actually a great story, and that's one of the main things I love
seriously
about
is.
this album.
Yeah, definitely. This album, if this album was not an opera or a concept album or whatever,
Yeah, if this wasn't a storytelling
I don't even
album,
think I'd like this album as much. Here's the chorus, and this actually gives you a taste of what all the choruses throughout the album are like. They're really epic, really, really theatrical, actually, and really, almost really like a musical. Like you know when you go to a play and they're doing a musical, is kind of what these choruses are like. Here's the chorus to Hold It All Cost. At that point, the music does the storytelling rather than the lyrics.
I don't know if it does it for you, but it also kind of makes me feel like I can feel the morale of the people in the story.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's part of what he does with his voice, I think. Also, the lyrics and it's the
But I
way
think
it's
it
what the
is-
instruments are doing. It puts you in their shoes, and
Yeah.
you can feel the like you're a part of this war where you're with your buddies, you know, at war, and you can just like, oh, we're fucked. Then we're gonna get to Devil to Pay, which is another. It's part 2 of the trilogy. This album really is acting in musical form. It's not really music telling a story. It's more so that it's a story in music form. So the way this song begins is with the national anthem. I'll give you you know what that is, but I'll give you a small snippet of it. Then there's even a small section of just sound effects of the war, you know, gunshots and everything. And then it comes in with this dramatic, I guess, guitar, this melodic guitar setting the scene. And then Tim Owens is going to do, again, the acting through his vocals. Check this out.
In July 1863, a nation torn in tragedy, a trick of fate, 2 great armies merge, gods of war at Gettysburg, devastation lies ahead, 50,000 bodies litter
With
the
his
land.
vocals telling and narrating, basically. He's using his narrating voice, not his acting voice, sorry. But and the music is just setting the scene. You can hear the drums of war, I guess, and you have it's in this kind of marching kind of beat, this marching rhythm, and the whole thing it's really just setting up a civil war. It also has that little flute or whatever it is in the background to bring back that time period. Then it kicks off into, again, being heavy, really unique melodies and great melodies, and going into the song. great unique melody, something that I think this album is full of. Great melodies that stand out even more so and stronger than previous Iced Earth albums. They're a little more unique rather than generic, which is what some earlier Iced Earth albums do. Then we're going to get into Tim Owens doing the actual song through his vocals and just see how intense he is and how just listen to his vocals and the lyrics and all of it. It really puts you in the action of this battle that's taking place.
The pressure's on and the realms attack. The useless hold, they can't fall back. It's just to my guys who knows it's true. One guess 20,000 they can't hold no. Silverado makes his way. West of the massive.
Okay, now I honestly love those high vocals that he does. But before I go into dissecting that part, I want to show you these high falsettos that actually he's famous for doing, which I like a lot. As you guys know from my previous video, I'm a sucker for the higher pitched vocals. Not necessarily, I'm not a big fan of his falsettos, but I like them in this song because they're more so of a scream than it is of just a falsetto. Check it out. How that is really bringing you into the action through the lyrics and the movement of the instruments. I think the musicianship here for storytelling is the best I've seen in any album on here. To close up this review, that is pretty much The Glorious Burden by Iced Earth, their most controversial album in their discography. I personally do like this album a lot. This is actually was the first Iced Earth album I liked. Now that I've got more to their discography, you know, now I'm a sucker for Night of the Storm Rider and their first album, Iced Earth. Even their stuff when they were Purgatory, I actually kind of like that more so than Iced Earth, than actual Iced Earth. Enter the Realm, you know, great demo album. I like that stuff more, but this album, The Glorious Burden, is the finest opera that metal has to offer. I think
This actually is is my favorite album, and I like it for that reason. The storytelling, because it's not just storytelling, like he said. I never could find the words for it, but yeah, it's like acting through music, and that's what I really enjoy about it. And I like how it goes from, you know, the whole narrating into like the heavy and the actual story, and then it takes you through piece by piece, scene by scene.
Oh yeah, it really takes its time to really bring out every emotion and situation.
Yeah,
that is in
and
the story.
I love that mix of emotions it gives you, because like it gives you like hope when he's like doing the high voices and the
it really sounds
and the heavy
fierce and
guitars.
they're fighting.
Yeah,
and then he does his dramatic voices, and he even stops like in the middle of the action. Everything changes so that way he can come and basically act out the two voices between the two characters to tell you what's going on, and then he'll go right back into the action.
Exactly.
But with
I
great
love
transitions.
that.
With all that being said, I'm going to give this album a strong 7.2
out of 10.
out of 10.
Alrighty. I'll give this album a solid 9 out of 10.
Oh, okay, solid 9 out of 10. That's
I mean,
very
this is
bold.
my favorite
That's
album,
very
so
bold. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let us know what you think about this album. Isaac never returned. He said he was going to be back, but
yeah, I don't know where he went.
I don't. Yeah.
Also,
in the description, his Isaac's rating of this album will be there.
also, this is green ginger green tea.